Well, hi guys, welcome to where I live. This is the beautiful Derwent River behind me, and welcome back to episode 5. So today I wanted to just talk to you while I had a little walk down here by the river, and it's a beautiful day. Before we get started, it is Anzac Day today, so I wanted to acknowledge everybody who perhaps tunes in here, or anybody that's ever been affected by or even knows of, and that's pretty much all of us, somebody who has served in our military and served our country. So today we remember them, and I wanted to just start with in a really respectful way for the men and women who have gone and fought and died and given their lives for our country. My grandfather fought for this country as well. He did survive, and he came back, and I knew him very well, although he's no longer with us. And I acknowledge him and my grandparents today in all of this. Today I wanted to talk to you about a very important way of thinking. This is something that one of my early trainers and mentors, a fellow by the name of Joe Parnay, shared with me back in 2008, 2009, when I was studying my diploma in coaching at the Coaching Institute in Victoria. Joe's a great guy. He's trained thousands of coaches, and he's well remembered for his stories about Silvana and his twin boys and lots of other amazing anecdotes. Great guy, incredible character. And Joe shared with me and the team that we're learning there a thing called the 4 levels of thinking. It's also known as the framework of ecology, and it's important for you to know when times are tough, and it's important for you to know when resisting sabotage, self-sabotage. It's also important for you to know in terms of breakthrough, which is of course what I talk about. I also know this as the Master Dabbler Pattern. So if you are interested in being more on the road to mastery, then this will be helpful for you. There is a download sheet for this. If you would like it, just put download in the comments below, and I will send you the worksheet for this, and you can go through the worksheet with me. From time to time as we go along this path, there's going to be some friends for me to say hello to as well. So stay tuned, you might meet some locals. So let's have a look at the first level. Well, there we go. I did just meet a new friend, which was pretty cool. Just pause the video there. Great guy, Boilermaker. So let's talk about this first level, level 1, let's call it. Let's write it there, level 1, so you remember. And I'll put the points underneath. I'll leave some space there for me. So the first, this is what everyone chases. Everyone wants to be level 1. And that is where the behavior that you're doing or the action that you're taking feels good, right? So that's number 1, feels good. And the second thing is that it should be good for you, and then it should be good for others, and it should be good for the greater good. So what does this mean? Well, feels good, you know what that means. You know when something feels good. That's when it's a joy to do, it's a privilege to do. It's kind of like doing these videos. It feels good. But I can tell you what, it didn't feel good to begin with, but I'll get there in a second. The second thing is that it should be good for you. And you can think of plenty of examples for that. Let's talk about going to the gym. Going to the gym, if you've been going for a while, it feels good. And is it good for you? Well, if you're doing it right, it's definitely good for you. Is it good for others? Well, if you're a father or a mother or a son or a brother, or if indeed you're connected in any way to anyone, absolutely, it's good for others. Because that means for them, you're a healthier person, you'll live longer, you'll be around longer, and so on. And is it good for the greater good? Well, I think so very much. I think it's good for the greater good because you're a healthier and more productive member of society. But let's talk about how you get to a level 1 behavior. Let's look on this side here. I'm going to swap arms. To get to level 1, you must go through a level 2 behavior. And what is a level 2 behavior? That's where whatever you're doing, perhaps in the beginning, doesn't feel good. It's unfamiliar, it's maybe a little scary. It's maybe something you've got to get used to. It's maybe something you haven't done before. And this is where most people fall down. So what does that mean, that level 2 behavior? Well, in the beginning, when I first started doing these videos, it didn't feel good. I didn't really know exactly what I was doing, he says as he tilts the camera sideways horribly. I was fairly familiar with the editing software. I knew I didn't have all the tools I needed. I've just ordered a new selfie stick so that I've got a gyro and everything built into it. Just ordered the Osmo. I've got a different static selfie stick at the moment. It still doesn't feel great to do it, but is it good for me? Yes, absolutely. Is it good for others? Well, considering the feedback that I'm getting so far, so good. And is it good for the greater good? Well, I believe it is. So I'll continue to do it. And the more I do it, the more I experience a level 2 behavior, the closer I will get to a level 1 behavior. And that is what we all want to achieve and what we all want to collect, more experiences in that level 1 behavior. But what do most people do? Well, most people, not you of course, but most people will utilize a level 3 behavior to get to a level 1 behavior. They'll skip the level 2 behavior where things feel bad, and they'll go to a level 3 behavior where it feels good, but it's not good for them, not good for others, and not good for the greater good. Best example I can give for this one is giving up chocolate. And I'm going to say that as I've got the Cadbury factory behind me here. Where is it? See if I can spot it in my camera. Cadbury factory's in there somewhere. Where is it, damn it? There it is, over there behind me. Just in the hills. Giving up chocolate. To begin with, when you're giving up anything, cigarettes, chocolate, booze, potato chips, whatever it is that you're giving up, it definitely doesn't feel good. In fact, it feels crap. I'm an ex-cigarette smoker. I'm an ex-heavy drinker. I'm an ex-potato chip fan. And I can tell you right now that giving those things away does not feel good at all. It feels terrible. But what people do is they say they're going to quit something or they say they're going to do something. And let's talk about business for a second, because let's face it, that's why we're here. When you go to pursue whatever it is that you're doing in business, you have to give up a former lifestyle. You have to give up some things in the past. And when you give those things up, it doesn't feel good. It feels pretty bad. But what most people do is they'll start off in business and they'll expect to maintain their old lifestyle whilst they're starting the new lifestyle. You see, in order to be successful in business, you have to give some stuff up, and that feels pretty bad. When you have to give things up, it feels pretty bad. And most people don't want to give up anything from their past. So what happens is the level 3 behavior becomes the preferred behavior. And that's where things feel good still. They're not perhaps willing, these people that want breakthrough, not perhaps willing to have things feel bad. And that, the more you repeat it, becomes not good for you, not good for others, and not good for the greater good. Now you keep repeating this behavior, and what happens? Well, you end up with a behavior that then is a level 4 behavior, where it doesn't feel good, it isn't good for you, it isn't good for others, and it isn't good for the greater good. And that's that woe is me environment, where people are saying, how did I get here? How did I end up in this place? Because there was no sacrifice made and there was no pain felt. In order to get anywhere, whether it's a fitter body, a stronger mind, a better business, or anything that you want improvement in your life, you absolutely need to get to a level 1 behavior where things feel good, good for you, good for others, and good for the greater good. But the way to get there is undeniably through the level 2 behavior, where it feels bad. And by the way, it doesn't need to feel awful, it just needs to feel a little uncomfortable. My pastor talks about stretching versus snapping. It's okay to stretch yourself as long as you're not snapping yourself. That's the kind of pain I'm talking about in that level 2 behavior. It's a stretch, not a snap. Stretch yourself to a point of uncomfortable, but not pain as in, I feel physical or emotional or mental anguish and anxiety. It's just a stretch. Perhaps you can look at it as a 1% rule. What can I do today that's 1% uncomfortable? Make yourself 1% stretched, 1% unhappy, 1% uncomfortable in order to get yourself to the next step. Those ones, after a course of an entire year, well, you'll end up 365% if you just add it up, compounding from where you were. And if you're not doing that, if you're not willing to do that, if you're not prepared to do that, then perhaps you don't really want the change after all. And you're really just happy to stay where you are. Maybe you just want the results without doing the work. And if that's you, let me encourage you today to stop following the pattern of the dabbler, of that level 3, level 4, level 3, level 4, where you're going, feels good, but I'm not getting anywhere. And then it feels bad again. That's a real self-sabotage. Why not today decide to do something where it feels a little bit bad, where you've got a bit of a stretch, but it's going to get you to where you want to go even quicker. Make a decision each day to feel just a little bit uncomfortable. You have a vision for where you want your life to go, right? Perhaps you have a vision for where you like your business to be. Certainly you've got a vision for where you'd like your finances to be. And the old saying, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got, or Einstein's definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, may sound a little familiar to you. Today, make a decision on the 1 or 2 things that you can do differently that'll give you a little bit of a stretch. How can you let yourself feel just a little bit of pain and still be comfortable with it? What direction will you be heading in? Ask yourself this: are the actions that I'm taking today and the decisions that I'm making today allowing me to move towards where I want to go with perhaps a little bit of pain, but maybe a little bit faster? Or are the decisions that I'm making today and the actions that I'm taking as a result, are they moving me further away from where I really want to be? Think about these 4 levels and how they apply to you in your life. What is it that you need to do differently or better, or perhaps sharpen today? How can you give yourself more permission to have a stretch, not snap, but a stretch? And how will you move yourself into a season of mastery rather than dabbling around those level 3 and level 4 behaviors? If you've enjoyed today's video, remember to subscribe, hit the subscribe button below, like, comment, and share on these videos, and I look forward to seeing you again in tomorrow's video.